Elizabeth here from Dingbats Notebooks, and in today's video I'm going to be setting up a cover page, a monthly, and a mood tracker with a Toy Story theme. I'm super excited to be trying out the newest member of the wildlife collection, the purple hippo. Isn't he just adorable? The cover is a beautiful textured vegan leather, as always. And just a reminder that Dingbats Notebooks donates 2% of its UK revenue to WWF UK. Check out the link in the description for more information about the features of the brand new notebook. Okay, so let's get right into the planning. Starting with the cover page, I of course wanted to portray the protagonist of the Toy Story movies, Woody. My initial idea when I was brainstorming was to have Woody sitting on some alphabet blocks with his foot out towards the viewer, and instead of Andy, to write May on the bottom of his shoe. And when I was telling my husband this idea, he was like, yeah, that's a good idea, but what if the blocks he's sitting on spell out May, and then his shoe can still say Andy, since that's such an iconic part of his storyline and character design. And I gotta be honest, that was a good idea. So that's what I'm doing. The blocks he's sitting on spell out May, and his shoe says Andy. As you can see, I started off by using colored pencils, and I decided to switch to Crayola Super Tips and Tombow brush pens because I wanted a bit more of a vibrant look than I was getting with the colored pencils. The one exception is that I did use a red colored pencil to create the plaid look of Woody's shirt because I wanted it to be a little bit more subtle and a very thin line, more so than what I could have achieved using a marker or the brush pens. So it's actually kind of funny when I was asked to do a Toy Story theme for this month's video, because I actually have a very personal connection to Toy Story. I used to work for Disney Cruise Line as a performer on their cruise ships, and for 2 years in a row I worked on the Disney Wonder, and they had Toy Story the Musical. So I performed in Toy Story the Musical for 2 years, and I feel a very personal connection to Toy Story, even more so than I did just having watched the original movie quite a bit as a kid. So it was just kind of a fun full circle moment, and I was feeling a lot of nostalgia while I was setting up these spreads for sure. I really like to draw everything out in pencil first, just to get a good idea of where everything's gonna go. I can make sure my lines are straight and all of that, and then that means when I'm going in with the color, I don't have to worry quite so much because I already did all the planning ahead of time. Of course, you have to be careful depending on what medium you're using. Some mediums, it's pretty hard to erase the pencil once you're done, so just be aware of that. Maybe do a test at the back of your journal before you do it. It also helps if you use a bit of a lighter hand while you're drawing with pencil, in my experience. Moving on to the monthly spread, my concept for this spread was to have some of our favorite iconic Toy Story characters popping up out of a moving box, and that they're struggling to get Slinky Dog into the box with them because of his slinky body. As much as you pull the front half of him in, the bottom half just doesn't follow. I thought that would be kind of a cute idea. So starting off with Mr. Potato Head, everyone's favorite grump, and next to him I have Rex, probably my favorite character as a kid. I decided to go back over the marker to add sort of a pointillism effect to Rex to try to represent the textured plastic that he's made from. Next up we have Ham, and beside Ham we have Bo Peep. So like I said, I think Rex is my favorite character from Toy Story. I would love to know your favorite Toy Story character, so let us know in the comments down below. I definitely struggled trying to make these characters representative of the characters in the movies. They're so iconic and their cartoon style is so well defined. I wouldn't say my art style is very cartoony normally, so it was definitely a challenge, but it was a fun one to try to meet. I think out of all of the characters, Bo Peep was the hardest for me to draw, especially her face. For the box itself, I used some brown paper that I had left over from a package that was delivered, cut it into a rectangle, and then used a marker just slightly darker than the paper itself to draw in the lines of the monthly. And then I added May at the top left there using a similar font to Andy on the bottom of Woody's shoe. Just a very messy, sort of childlike font. And then I cut out some slimmer strips to be the lid flaps of the box that have been pushed open. And then I just used some glue tape from Tombow to glue all the paper down. So now drawing in Slinky Dog, the top of him is almost in the box and Bo Peep has her crook hooked around him trying to pull him in. And then Buzz at the bottom, still on the ground, trying to help from the other end. I knew that Buzz was a complicated character and that he had lots of little doodads and buttons and features and all that stuff, but I hadn't really thought about it in years. So when I was looking at a reference photo to draw him, I was just realizing how many little ball joints and separate pieces and different colors and things were involved. So it was kind of fun. I had to redraw his legs a couple times to get them to be the right proportion to the rest of his body, because especially his lower legs and feet are actually quite large, I guess because he's a toy, to balance all of the top heaviness of his flight pack so that he doesn't fall over when you stand him up. Moving on to the final spread of this setup, which is the mood spread. And I really struggled for a while to come up with a concept for this. And then all of a sudden, the little green aliens popped into my head, the claw. And in the Toy Story musical on the Disney cruise ship, the claw is an entire musical number, and it was definitely the one that got stuck in all of our heads the most and just gives me lots of fun nostalgia feels. So I got really excited about this idea, and I thought I would create the sort of rocket ship shaped claw game and have one little green alien being pulled out by the claw, and then draw 31 other little green aliens along the bottom that you can then fill in with different shades of green depending on your mood. And a little tip, if you're creating a mood tracker or really anything in your bullet journal and you want to recreate the same shape over and over again, I would highly recommend drawing the shape once on a scrap piece of paper, cutting it out and tracing that into your notebook. That's what I did to initially draw out all the little green aliens at the bottom in pencil, and it made the process so much faster and easier and made sure that they were all the exact same shape and size, which is perfect since they're supposed to be these mass-produced little green alien toys. So that is it for this little Toy Story setup. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the Dingbats YouTube channel if you want to see more from us, and check out Dingbats on all of their social media. You can also find me under Plant-Based Bride on YouTube. My links are in the description. My favorite spread, for sure, is the mood spread. I just loved how it turned out with all the little green aliens, and I think it would look so good completely filled in with all the different shades of green. It's always really satisfying when you come up with a mood spread that really utilizes whatever theme you're doing. I don't know why, it just really is. And with that, we've reached the end of this video. I hope we brought you a little slice of nostalgia pie today, and don't forget, you've got a friend in me. Bye, friends.